Coleles, a Brazilian neuroscientist living in the USA for years, developed a device that greatly improves Parkinson's disease. But this device still has a very high cost in the millions of dollars, which makes it inaccessible to the vast majority of Parkinson's patients. Yes, my friend, I'll talk about treating Parkinson's disease with acupuncture. Let's look at the physiological bases that explain the effectiveness of needles in treating Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is a neurological disease that affects a person's movements. It causes tremors, slowness of movement, muscle stiffness, imbalance, as well as changes in speech and writing. Parkinson's disease occurs because of the degeneration of cells located in the region of the brain called the substantia nigra. These cells produce the substance dopamine, which conducts nerves currents in the body. The lack of or decrease in dopamine affects movements, causing the symptoms described above. Miguel Nicoleles and his team managed to balance the nerve stimuli coming from the brain to the muscles using electrical stimulation directly on the vagus nerve in this region. To do so, it's necessary to implant a stimulating electrode directly into the vagus nerve in the neck region, and through this apply an electrical stimulus which will reach the medulla oblongata, the terminal part of the brainstem. The low and high frequency electrical stimulation used by Miguel Nicoleles' team causes neurotransmitters to be regulated in this brain region, leading to an improvement in the motor symptoms caused by the disease. But how can needles do the same? Let's talk about a pathology known as epilepsy. This has a similar etiology to Parkinson's disease, being an imbalance in the concentration of the neurotransmitter dopamine. The epileptic attack is sporadic and occurs when incorrect discharges or electrical impulses are emitted by neurons in different regions of the brain. It can attack just one brain lobe or both at the same time. It's important to know that these seizures are triggered by various reasons, which may originate from tumors, brain injuries, strokes, genetic origin, etc. Most cases of epileptic people end up not even knowing the reason for their attacks and may suffer just a few crises and become balanced, or also last a lifetime requiring medication control and medical monitoring. But why are we talking about epilepsy if the objective here is to treat Parkinson's disease? There is a type of epilepsy called photosensitive epilepsy. Stimulus. These epileptic seizures triggered by flashing lights. It's common to hear about epileptic seizures that occur in nightclubs due to effect of strobe light on people subject to epileptic seizures. The flashing strobe light hits the brain and triggers neurotransmitter imbalance. The characteristic that interests us about this epilepsy is the fact that the light stimulus reaches the brain to the ocular branch of the trigeminal nerve. Through this nerve, we can act with needles in the region and brain region we desire. By stimulating the trigeminal with a frequency between 2 and 10 Hz, we reach this same area of the brain responsible for epilepsy and Parkinson's disease, and balance serotonin levels, just like Nicoleles' experiments. And not just him. After all, we already have other pharmaceutical laboratories that have developed their own equipment for vagal stimulation with the same purpose. As a skilled acupuncturist, we use simple needles to achieve the same effect. So, just as electrical stimulation of the vagus nerve balances brain neurochemistry and solves Parkinson's problems, we can use electroacupuncture through the trigeminal nerve and have the same effects. These points In other words, without the need for expensive implants, hospitalization, etc., we can treat Parkinson's disease with two little needles in the yin-yang IG20, which are located bilaterally at the base of the nostril. This is the same treatment for rhinitis. I would like to take this opportunity to talk about how the lateral stimulation of the nerve endings located at the bases of the nostril causes the sinuses to contract, cleaning and unclogging the upper airway, treating rhinitis and sinusitis. Returning to the stimuli that treat Parkinson's disease, it's important to highlight that these stimuli will reach the same brain region responsible for epileptic attacks. Therefore, we must be careful not to use this treatment in patients susceptible to epilepsy. We could be causing a photosensitive epileptic seizure, but through the maxillary branch of the trigeminal.